Hey everybody, welcome to the Big Roofs Podcast. I'm your host, John Delorier. Today I have my former co-host, AJ Briley, and one of the ProLine customers, one of our favorite ProLine customers, Emily May of M&M Roofing, Lufkin, Texas. Is that right?
Lufkin, Texas.
That's right. Thanks for coming on today. You're in person. You're our first, we've actually in-person ProLine customer to be on the podcast. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, to be in Atlanta, and I wanted to meet everyone and put a actual tangible face. So
Yeah, it's weird to see people on Zoom a million times and then you see them in person, like, oh, you're real. We just talked about, like, are you tall, are you short, what do you look like in person? It's funny thing. Well, we've also, you and I have communicated a lot of Zoom calls because we were in the same mastermind with Dave Sullivan. So I don't know if it was from the very beginning, but close to the beginning of you starting the business.
yeah. I think that attributing joining a mastermind, being a part of other contractors that are willing to share, talk about, their experiences and troubles, and just because no one local will help you. And so again, just not reinventing the wheel, because there's guys out there that are doing it far better than you. And so why not, lean into those resources? So to me, I feel like actually a very integral part of our growth with our company.
Awesome.
So it was very important.
Awesome. Well, I think you have a great story too. So tell the audience your background. Why did you choose roofing? Like all those things. I think like there's a lot of things that I know that I think the audience would really appreciate. What's your story?
Okay, yeah. So I'm like the nurse to roofer. I think that's the easiest way to, I guess, label me. Just would listen to some podcasts with Cody Sanchez, and she talks about buying boring businesses that cash flow, add some tech and marketing to them. So really just evaluating in our area, like what were those? Where was I spending my money? And I had some rental properties, and I had bought my third roof for the year. And so I thought, oh, maybe I'll buy a roofing company and I'll just roof my rent houses at cost, and it'll be a great little hobby. So in November of 22, I asked the guy, hey, would you sell your company? And he said, yes, actually, I'll sell it. And I'm leaving for the Philippines in 2 weeks. Tag, you're it. Here you go. So I knew nothing. I was still nursing at the time, and I had a secretary that came with, she came over with the sale. So again, speaking of like off to the races, learning, making those connections, partnerships. And so fast forward, we're 2.5 years in, and we've made some other acquisitions and grown exponentially. And so really that's, I guess, from nurse, I did finally walk away about 7 months in so that I can grow the company. So nurse to roofer.
That's awesome.
How exciting was that when you got to go full time?
Okay, so in all honesty, it was exciting, but it was scary because I had worked a W-2 job my entire life. That's what I went to college for. I had a college degree. And so stepping away from like health insurance, I know that seems silly, but like health insurance was like I almost had tears in my eyes, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And looking back, it was so silly. Like to go and again, have the opportunity to grow that company needed my full attention. So but there are a lot of people out there that I get calls at least weekly. How did you decide to make the commitment to, jumping from a W-2, a guaranteed paycheck, to the unknown? And anyone who's a business owner understands that there's unknown, there's uncharted water. And really, I think it's how much uncomfortable can you stomach? So if you're not willing to do that, then I think that maybe you should stay as your W-2 job.
It's true. I think what risk that Dave Sullivan and I talk about when we do those like free 30-minute calls, we actually try to convince people to not be roofers or not to own a roofing company because of all those things you just said. Like there's a weight that you carry, because I just sold my business after almost a decade, and the weight, I did not realize how heavy that weight was. And once it was lifted, I was like, oh, this is different now. This is a different world to be in, and you gotta want to do it, and you gotta be a certain mindset that's just so resilient, so persistent, unbelievable ability to recover from difficult things. And I'm really impressed with what you have done with M&M. Let's talk a lot about, before we hit record, we were talking about spending money on ads, and you guys don't do that.
That's correct.
How do you get business?
So we early on, I had someone again local to our area who is she's a national marketer for HVAC companies. So Lemon Seed Marketing. So I'll give her a shout out.
Yeah, she's awesome. Kristen's awesome.
Yeah, Crystal's amazing. And she just kind of reached out and said, "Hey, I kind of see some stuff on social media that you're doing. I don't know anything about roofing. Like, let me help you. Like, let's figure this out together." So she really has a really big focus on brand and market awareness. And so spending a lot of money just really connecting with your community. Again, billboard campaigns, radio, all the community events. And so people will ask me all the time, well, and my husband specifically, what's your ROI on a billboard? Okay, well, no one pulls over. I will tell you this. No one pulls over on the side of the road to write down your information, scan your QR code, and think, you know what? I needed a roof today. That was here for a reason. No, it's just about just constantly being, seeing like a trickle of this, see a social media post, see a truck that drives by, just a constant little influx of just, that brand. And so that when your roof does leak or insurance tells you they're going to drop you because your roof is too old or a hailstorm comes through, you don't have to think about it. You're just like, oh yeah, I've seen M&M Roofing. They're everywhere. They're in the community. I saw them at the baseball games. So to me, that was our primary focus was community and market awareness. So that's really the way that we kind of attacked our marketing strategy.
Love it. I think there's some uniqueness. Like if you just hear you hear the title, M&M Roofing, like, oh, I've seen a million of those, right?
Correct.
Well, you have taken that kind of normal bland brand and the logo's very eye-catching, but I think one of the things that's fun is your mascot. Rufus is amazing. Describe Rufus. Describe like where Rufus is, what he like. It's a whole suit. Like you invested in like a whole mascot suit.
Oh, like he's like life size. So Rufus goes out and about in the community. Again, it's about just awareness for him. And he's so lovable and all the kids love him. They want to take pictures with him. But really the thought around that was, I think a lot of guys that start out, they think, oh, good, let me just get a logo, right? I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but it's like a house.
Triangle Club.
How did you know? How did you know it was my logo?
It's blue. It's navy blue. It's red, black, or white.
Okay, and I can only say that because I had a navy blue house logo to start. And so you get a logo, you put it on a truck, and you also then list out the 37 services that you do and your phone number and all this stuff, right? Again, no one is driving by you 55 miles an hour thinking, oh, you know what? I need to call them for my roof. No, it's just about get a good fun color, get something that people can engage to, that they can relate to, fun colors. And so then the mascot kind of came to life. So Rufus is an armadillo and he has a shingle shell and he is life size and it's really hot. I think when you get in him, I don't know because I've not been in him, but we have to get like a fan or like, yeah, there's a fan. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So he goes out about. He is out at least once a week, whether we're shooting content. We just had a ribbon cutting at one of our new locations. He's there. Again, that M&M Roofing, it just takes us to the next level. We're just different. We're not just a guy in a truck with a triangle club.
Triangle club. You've left the triangle club.
Yeah. I had a blue triangle. Like that perfect house with like the little window at the top. Yeah. That was me.
Me too.
For a long time.
But we've grown.
That's great. What you also have not just the branding piece, but also your desire to be different and to have a better customer experience. What was like the first thing that kind of got you interested in what ProLine offers?
So our culture is about just being customer obsessed, like communication and customer obsessed. So really just letting that customer experience. And I do business with people who answer the phone. We talk about it all the time. You call to get your lawn cut, or you need a plumber to come out and they don't answer the phone. So then you go to the next one. They don't answer the phone. You go to the next one. Their voicemail's full. And you go through 3 or 4 people before finally you get someone who answers the phone. They come out, they're prompt, they respond. And you think, oh my God, you're like my new favorite friend. You're so good. I'm going to tell everyone about you. I really think half the battle is answering the phone and then showing up when you say you're going to show up. So communication, that's really the basis. But so for ProLine, when we started looking at CRMs, again, I came from the Triangle Club logo. We did paper bids. We did not have any automations, no CRM, no platform. So we came really from a very antiquated system. the automations and the removing the human aspect of follow-ups and being consistent. So for us, that sells jobs. People feel like, wow, they are staying in contact with me. They are following up with me, because all the other guys are handing over a paper bid and, okay, call me if you're ready to go. And there's never another follow-up. That happened with us, and I knew that we needed to follow up. But then it was like, okay, you're, in the office now. Can you call these previous customers? It's just not consistent. You get busy. There's no way to monitor that. And so that was really, I guess, would say the attracting part. Now, ProLine to me offers so many other features that have allowed our company to grow exponentially. But automations in general, if we want people to know about financing, that we offer financing, put an automation in there. Introduce them to financing before we even get there. Send a link that shows a face and a short video. Hey, my name's, Emily, and I'm coming out if you have any questions. So it's now they can correlate, put a face with a name. So to me, again, just differentiating yourself from the other guys, and communication is to me where it starts.
Love that.
Yeah. Anything? You got anything?
Well, yeah, it's always great just to hear somebody, we were talking when we first started building ProLine, like these automations need to exist. There needs to be a system that allows you to build out, customize, and deploy these automations for your team. It's just always so exciting to hear somebody that's like, that was what I was looking for. And then, are actually utilizing it to grow and scale.
For sure. And I think, John, we would talk about on the mastermind too. A lot of people call you because they need something now, but there are people that are looking for budget numbers. They're thinking about it. They're planning. And very few times do you have any company that calls and follows up 6 months later, 4 months later, a year later. We've sold jobs because they will say you're the only company that followed up with us. And that we sent the proposal a year ago.
Yep.
I know you've had the same scenarios, same case.
It's a huge thing. And, it kind of makes the ROI and all the money that you're spending for branding to building that brand, that those leads that are coming through, you're maximizing each lead. You're not letting it slip through the cracks, even though they got 3 to 5 quotes and they're all sticker shock and they're like, oh, what do we do? 6 months later, you're still there. So you don't have to spend the extra money and they forgot who you were or whatever it was. You're actually able to close that because the other 4 companies just didn't do it. It was super. That just set the baseline of what ProLine did for my company and your company is the best value that I saw. Kind of moving forward, you have 5, is that right? 5 reps in your residential side?
Yes, we do.
Did you get any of those reps or recruit them from other companies?
Maybe. I did. Actually, we talked about this. I just recognized top leaders in our area, and if they were really killing it and doing a good job, they had really branded themselves through social media. So if I don't get on social media a lot, but so if I saw them on social media posting in groups, community groups, advertising, call me, being there, being someone that wanted to, again, be a solution to the problem for customers in the moment, then I wanted them on my team. So it meant just me reaching out cold and saying, hey, I just heard we have to meet. And my guy kind of will tell you, the guy that the first one that I did that to, I've since hired several others that he knows in the business or that he worked with. And he said, Emily just reached out and said, hey, we have to meet. And it's kind of weird. Like, who is this and why are you texting me? But then it's my job to sell our culture, sell our company. And then when you get them on board, then take care of them, right? And make sure that you help them reach their goals. He actually just closed on his house today. It was on his vision board at the beginning of this year. And so we don't talk about money goals in our business. We talk about, I want my guys, everyone, all the way from the person answering the phone, all the way up to the commercial guys, everyone. I want to know what their goals are so that then we can help them because if we get them to their goal, the company's winning. I don't have to set $1 million, $2 million sales goal. If you're buying a house that you wanted to buy, or if you bought the boat, or whatever that looks like for you, then the company's winning.
Yep.
And you're not so focused on, I feel like then they don't feel like you're focused on yourself and the just the business only. We actually care about and focus on them and what are they doing and how are they moving along in life.
I love that. I think most people should be doing that because it is always like, what's your revenue? What's your sales? And that's just very one-sided of any part of it. It's exactly what you said. It's like company focus. What is that salesperson doing for the company? On top of that, like having a platform, my thought was, I actually forgot that you had salespeople from other organizations that you recruited. my question really was, what was their reaction when they started using ProLine? Like, because if they were doing another system or paper or whatever it was, I'm always curious to hear people that have been in the roofing industry, they move over to a company that has ProLine. I know that for myself, for my sales reps, they loved it. But what were some things that they mentioned that made their life better? Because it's always quality of life. It's not just the selling the more roofs; it's the quality of life as well.
Right. So, and those guys actually came over. They were using AccuLinks, I think, from the previous company. I think, and it would be a compliment to you guys as well from me, but when they bring up a concern or an issue or, hey, this didn't work, or hey, I think this needs to be tweaked to be better, because they're the guys in the field, that we can reach out to your team and we get a response immediately. Again, we do business with people who answer the phone. So someone immediately, or we have, again, me starting out when the CRM was in its early stages, it's grown. I mean, it's crazy how much it's grown and all the different features that are in there. And a lot of those features came from, I would say, contractors in the field making suggestions on, hey, we need to add this, or this doesn't look right, or this is not practical for the way we're doing things. So just, again, having some back and forth and open dialogue. So they'll talk about, hey, I think that this should be done better. And if we can put it into an automation, or we can, again, customize it for our company at the, snap of a finger, that's huge, because these other companies don't answer the phone.
Yep.
You're just a monthly, revenue for them. So that it's not the same.
Yeah.
So that was huge. I think that would be the biggest thing that they would say is the difference in the ProLine platform.
Love that. Yeah, that's something that AJ and I always drive. What's the percentage? Like for the ideas board. So there's the ideas board that we have for all of our users, and they can put ideas. We just did it a second ago. It's got to be a majority of the ideas board. That's what the features get. They get pushed up from contractors.
Mm-hmm. It's almost entirely.
Yeah. So
yeah. Contractor.
But as far as our the roadmap, that everybody talks about the roadmap, and we're like, companies that have software that they're thinking, this is what we think we need to do, and they don't listen to their customers, which is the contractor or whoever their customer base is. And then even if they listen, they don't do the thing, or they don't do it in a timely manner. And so I think that's, as a contractor, I was always trying to do the right thing, listen to my customer, do what they said they're going to do in a timely manner. It's the same thing. We want to take care of our customers the same way that I did as a roofing contractor. And it's super, super important that we continue that. We don't ever lose that part of who we are, our DNA.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's no reason that we've designed the way that we do business to scale that experience. Because here's the thing, it's easy when you're small. It's really easy to like always be responsive when you're small. But we're doubling the size of our support team in the next 30-ish days. And it's like, because we've set up a system that allows us to scale that experience, and we're going to stick to that.
Yeah.
And all of us guys expect the same as y'all grow.
Yeah.
We expect the same, because again, we're in the moment, or there's something that's happening, and so to get an immediate response or it's customer support it's game changer for us.
Yeah. I would wait days, weeks for responses from other softwares. I'm like, what am I doing right here? I'd send another chat, send another email, and it'd be like, what? I guess I'm never going to get my problem solved ever, and it's going to be broken. So,
or the idea, like the thing is, and we still have people that are skeptical of our idea board because they're like, oh, this is where my idea goes to die, right? But it is within 24 hours, it's being reviewed by someone on our dev team who's like potentially gathering in more information on it, making sure that the idea is positioned correctly so that if other contractors read it, they'll understand it and know whether or not to vote on it. So that's very important to us, is like making sure that there's no like big loop where you have to, the only way you get an idea done is if you can somehow grab the CEO at a conference. We want to have a very tight loop between our users and our development team. And that's, again, something that we're going to maintain.
Yep. So we talked about residential a little bit. You also acquired a commercial roofing company in your market. Talk about that. Talk about just your view on having both.
Yeah. So I think what I recognized in our area was, I do feel like we talked about this kind of beforehand, but that all residential roofers dabble in commercial roofing. Because what you have is you roof someone's house and they're like, oh, by the way, I own this office building and it has a leak. Can you come fix it? That can be dangerous. And I learned that because, again, every roofer thinks that they can, plumb a house. They're a jack of all trades. So the problem with that is true commercial roofing, they're certified to install and warranty with certain manufacturers. And that's huge because the clientele is more educated now, so they know they know what they're looking for. When architects are speccing out, there's certain requirements that you have to meet. So I recognized there was a need. I knew also that there were going to be certain limits. Like you have to, again, if you're starting out, you have to do so much in volume to be able to meet those. So long story short, we sought out a company that had all those certifications, had 45 years of experience, had an entire team built out, because a commercial roofing company is not a chuck in a truck. They have metal workshops, they have warehouses, they have a whole team estimating department. It's an operation. And so most residential companies don't fit together. So you have to truly be dedicated, I think, to building out that team and building out that office structure, building out that support repair guys, all of that are required to maintain an actual commercial business. So we bought a commercial company that had all those things in place. So it was really just once the acquisition was done, then we were able to then continue the projects that they had and then grow that exponentially, because it was an older operator and he was comfortable where he was, and me starting out, and I'm eager and off to the races, and so I wanted to grow. So that acquisition allowed us to do that and to do it confidently, to be certified, to have the confidence of those manufacturers and architects and so forth.
Love that. There's a new feature that I found out about yesterday that ProLine's probably at the time this podcast gets released, it may be updated. The org part. Describe that a little bit so that people understand, for commercial roofers specifically, why that's helpful and important.
Well, you need to track those organizational objects. So you were mentioning earlier, you have a commercial company that you're doing a lot of repairs for across like a lot of different locations, correct?
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. So the org object would just allow you to put that in the system, and then you can tie all those projects and contacts back to that single entity. So you're able to track your relationship with that entity, which is different than tracking it with a person. What I was going to ask, what do you feel like has been, and we were talking about a little bit earlier, but what has been your biggest challenges with going down this commercial route? You're talking about this is challenging going from residential to commercial. What's the biggest challenge has been?
So I think the commercial space is this. It's not my phrase, but it's the shaking hands and kissing babies business. In that your marketing strategy is completely different. Like people are not going. Building owners or hospitals or maintenance guys, those are really good relationships that you have to build. They're not going to Google or my social media page to find M&M Roofing. Those are relationships that take time to build, and really just take time from our sales rep, spending time touching base and then being a solution to their problem. So, and those relationships are not a one time, right? Like, so a lot of residential, you make the contact, you replace their roof, and then they leave you a great review and everybody's happy, and then you don't see them. You don't talk to them. You don't have any need to for 10 or 15 years.
If you did your job right.
If you did your job right, right? But in the commercial space, we don't aim to go in and just replace a roof, right? Because I understand commercial real estate. I understand CapEx expenses versus maintenance and repairs. So a lot of that clientele, they're wanting you to find a way to be the solution to stop their leak, because they're not replacing a roof. They're not going to just sign over a check for $500,000 to replace a roof. And if you can go in with the attitude that, hey, I want to build this relationship, I want to be your solution. So when you have a problem and you call us, we come and we take care of it. And hey, let's kick the can a little bit. Let's get some more life out of this roof. So to me, it's just a totally different strategy. So that's why, like, you have to almost operate it like, if you do offer commercial and residential, it's almost like two separate businesses, because the approach is completely different. Again, general contractors, building great relationships with their general contractors, because a lot of jobs and ITBs come through general contractors all over, or architects. And so whatever's being spec'd out in the new construction space, you're having to work with them. So again, building a good rapport and then doing what you say you're going to do, because those guys don't like it when you're delaying them, or They have liquidated damages. Like all those things come into play. So you have to have a great relationship and do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like two different businesses, but very complementary because there's so much cross like referral stuff going on. So it's like you're saying, it's like you do a residential roof and that gives you a segue into a commercial roof and potentially vice versa. But from an operational standpoint, they really have to be sort of different entities. Is that accurate?
Yes, I think that's a fair representation.
I think at one point you were thinking about keeping the brands separated. What made you? Am I correct? You put them under the same umbrella?
I did. We merged them together at the first of this year because what I realized was we were duplicating marketing spend. We were duplicating, everything we did. It was, we'd have a bid and it was like, oh, wait, that has the wrong header and logo on it. We got to make sure it's on this. And then do we duplicate ProLine systems? We're duplicating insurance. We're duplicating workers' comp. Like we're duplicating all these things. And for what? We're all the same people. We're running, it just streamlined processes. It's streamlined a lot of things for us. And I think there are plenty of acquisitions that happen where they do have a good brand and market awareness, where it would make sense. They have good traction, good lead generation. It would make sense to leave them as is. This one was an older operation. They hadn't done any marketing. So I was going to have to spend a lot of money to really get that ball rolling. And so I already had good momentum with the M&M side. So it just made sense to bring them under the M&M umbrella.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. We'll see once we have the orgs launched. I'd love to get your feedback on it once it's out there, once we get out in beta, because I think when you're talking about the shaking hands and kissing babies, you want to track some of that communication if you can, or at least track, notes, stuff like that. And that you can track it on the individual contacts, but then you can't see it in one place. And the goal with the orgs is we're going to have a centralized activity feed where you can see, here's our relationship with this whole organization across maybe multiple people, multiple projects. So that's our goal. I'm excited for you to see it and get your feedback on it.
I'm excited. Anything again that just moves us, pushes us forward, streamlines. Again, I think it's just exciting stuff to see the growth for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any more questions for Emily May.
Let me ask this. What do you think is so the immediate thing is is these challenges you're having with the commercial, making sure all that's working correctly. What else, like overall, just roofing in general? Is there anything you're seeing on the horizon that's maybe a challenge, something you're a little worried about, but maybe not a concern today, but it's kind of coming down the track?
I went to a conference earlier this year. It was not roofing. I think that if companies are not utilizing AI in their day-to-day, like we talk about it weekly, in their day-to-day operations in some capacity, I think you're going to get left behind. I think a lot of people are a little leery, like in my area, right? We're not a metropolitan city. And so that's a little different market. However, I still feel like AI has so much that it can offer, speed up our processes, eliminate time. So for us, I was at the Atlas corporate plant yesterday because we install Atlas shingles, and I was kind of showing them on my phone how we use ChatGPT instead of even going to their website. Customers always ask you, what color shingles will look best on my house? Well, they have a great, on their website where you can upload a picture, you can do all that stuff. Well, I can just from ChatGPT take a picture of their house and ask ChatGPT what color in Atlas Pinnacle Pristine would be best for this. And it will give recommendations, and then it will show you visualizations, and you can just turn your phone around and show the customer right there. You don't have to get off, go to a website, and you don't have to do any of that stuff. So again, or coming up with a quirky way to follow up with a commercial customer in an email, right? So you don't have to, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. To me, AI is just, there's so many great tools out there. So I tell my guys all the time, you guys should be using AI and somehow incorporating it in your daily activities, or you'll be left behind. I would say that's what I see on the horizon.
I love it. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's all about how can we work with it? How can we use it to increase our efficiency and ultimately raise the bar on what customers, prospects, our community expects from us.
Yeah.
100%. Oh. Well, thanks again, Emily, for coming.
Yes, thanks for having me in Atlanta and this nice studio. And it's just, again, it's good to, these guys are actually working. They're actually.
We'll have to Zoom me.
They're not just
Zoom warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. We really are happy to have you and appreciate you coming all the way from Lufkin.
Yep.
It's a bit of it.
Did you drive or fly?
No, we flew.
Okay.
That's awesome. Well, thanks everybody for coming watching Big Roof's podcast. Until next time.